In the bustling town of Ezudo, there was a name that everyone knew, Dr. Ikomafuna. He was a renowned doctor, known for his wealth, skill, and generosity. People came from far and wide seeking his help, and his reputation as a healer extended beyond the borders of the town. Yet, behind the calm and successful facade of Dr. Ikomafuna lay a past filled with darkness and tragedy, one that even he had buried deep within his heart. Ikomafuna had been born into a wealthy and respected family. His father, Chief Ozoemena, was a successful businessman, and his mother, Ngozi, a graceful and kind-hearted woman. They were well loved in Ezudo, but their wealth had also made them targets of envy, especially from within their own family. Chief Ozoemena's brothers, driven by greed and jealousy, harbored a dark plan to take the family's wealth for themselves. It was on a rainy night, just a few months after Ikomafuna's birth, that tragedy struck. Chief Ozoemena and Ngozi were traveling back from a family celebration when their car was involved in a fatal accident. The brakes had been tampered with, and the car veered off the road, crashing into a ravine. Both parents were killed instantly. What the killers didn't know was that the infant Ikomafuna had miraculously survived. He was thrown from the car during the crash and was found hours later, crying in the bushes by a passing villager. Ikomafuna was taken in by an old woman named Neka, who lived on the outskirts of the town. She raised him as her own, never telling him about his true origins. She knew the truth, that Chief Ozoemena's brothers had orchestrated the accident to take control of the family fortune, believing that with both parents dead, the wealth would pass to them. What they never knew, however, was that the rightful heir, Ikomafuna, had survived. Growing up, Ikomafuna faced many hardships. He was often mocked for being an orphan, and life in Neka's small, modest home was nothing like the luxury he was unknowingly born into. But despite the poverty and challenges, Ikomafuna was a bright and determined child. Neka instilled in him the values of hard work, kindness, and perseverance. As he grew older, Ikomafuna developed a passion for helping people. He often assisted the village healer, learning about herbs and natural remedies. His thirst for knowledge was insatiable, and with Neka's encouragement, he began to dream of becoming a doctor. He worked odd jobs, saved every penny, and with Neka's blessing, he eventually left Ezudo to pursue his education in the city. Years passed, and Ikomafuna's dedication paid off. He excelled in medical school, earning scholarships and gaining recognition for his intelligence and compassion. He became a doctor, one of the finest in the country, and with his newfound success, he returned to Ezudo as a wealthy and respected man. He built a hospital in the town, offering medical care to the poor and giving back to the community that had once mocked him. But Ikomafuna still had no idea about his true identity. The old woman, Neka, had never revealed to him the secret of his birth, fearing that it would bring him danger. However, fate had a way of revealing itself. One day, Ikomafuna was approached by an old man, Enz Okari, who had been a close friend of his father. Enz Okari had been abroad when the accident happened, and upon returning, he learned about the tragedy. He had long suspected that Chief Ozoemena's brothers were responsible, but without proof, he had remained silent. However, when he learned about the new doctor in town and heard his name, he recognized the truth. He knew this young man could only be the son of Chief Ozoemena. Enz Okari visited Ikomafuna at his hospital, and after some hesitation, he shared the truth about his parents and the accident that had taken them. Ikomafuna was stunned. He had never known the true story of his birth, let alone that his parents had been murdered by their own family. Rage boiled within him, but Enz Okari placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your success is your revenge," the old man said. "You have become more than they ever imagined. If only they knew who you were, they would tremble with shame and regret." Ikomafuna decided to confront his uncles. By now, they had squandered much of the wealth they had stolen, living in relative obscurity and shame. When Ikomafuna arrived at their doorstep, They had no idea who stood before them, a wealthy doctor, the pride of Ezeudo. They welcomed him, hoping to gain something from his status, but as soon as he revealed his identity, their faces turned pale. "You killed my parents," Icomafuna said, his voice calm but filled with a quiet fury. "You thought you destroyed me along with them, but you failed." His uncles begged for forgiveness, offering weak excuses and pleading for mercy. But Icomafuna simply turned and walked away. He knew that justice had already been served. His success, his resilience, and his ability to rise above the darkness of his past were his greatest revenge. They had tried to destroy him, but in the end, he had triumphed. From that day on, the story of Icomafuna became a legend in Ezeudo. People marveled at how the orphan boy had grown to become one of the most powerful and respected men in the land. His uncles, now exposed for their greed and evil, were shunned by the community, living out their days in shame and regret. Icomafuna continued to live his life in service to others, never allowing his past to define him. He honored the memory of his parents, building a foundation in their name to help orphan children and the less fortunate, just as Neka had helped him. Moral of the story: true strength comes not from revenge but from rising above the trials that life throws at you. Success, built on integrity and perseverance, is the greatest victory one can achieve. And so, the tale of Icomafuna, the boy who survived the evil plot of his family, became a timeless reminder that no matter how deep the darkness, one can always find the light. If only they knew who he was, they might have treated him differently, but by then, it was too late.